All right, and here on our news, it says Ripple President Monica Long just laid out the vision clearly for XRP holders. So the question is, what if the entire financial system is secretly being rebuilt right under our noses? Think about how money moves around the world today. It is slow, it is clunky, and it feels like it is stuck in 1995. But what if I told you that the highest ranking executives in blockchain are dropping the exact blueprint for how global wealth will transfer over the next decade? Ripple President Monica Long right here shared a groundbreaking perspective on the future of digital finance. This isn't just standard corporate talk. It was quickly picked up and highlighted by top crypto analyst here, Xaif Crypto, who boldly claimed that Monica Long has finally laid out the vision clearly for every single token holder. We are moving away from the old era of isolated blockchain networks. The future of global wealth movement is shifting toward multi-chain connectivity, heavily regulated digital assets, and enterprise-grade networks. Now, if you have been wondering how XRP fits into a world that is suddenly flooded with stablecoins, this update changes everything. We are going to look past the surface noise, break down the exact words from Ripple's leadership, and see why the foundational plumbing of global banking is being completely replaced. Now, why is Monica Long's focus on multi-chain interoperability a massive shift? In her address, Monica Long made it incredibly clear that the future of payments will not belong to just one single blockchain. Instead, she emphasized that the entire industry is evolving into a multi-chain, fully interoperable ecosystem. This means different blockchain networks must be able to talk to each other and pass value back and forth seamlessly without any friction or technical barriers. Now, here's my opinion. I look at this and I see a massive wake-up call for the entire industry. For years, maximalists have argued over which single coin would rule the world. But Ripple's leadership is telling us that the one chain to rule them all concept is dead. So to me, this is incredibly bullish for XRP. So the question is, why? Because if the world is going to have thousands of different digital networks and tokenized assets, you absolutely need a hyper-fast, highly liquid asset to act as the universal connector. XRP was designed from day one to be a bridge currency. The more fragmented the financial world becomes, the more necessary a neutral bridge asset like XRP becomes to tie everything together. Now, how will the XRP Ledger become the ultimate capital for regulated stablecoins? Another massive point highlighted by Xaif Crypto is Ripple's aggressive goal to turn the XRP Ledger into the absolute premier destination for regulated stablecoins. Long explicitly stated that the network is being positioned as the native home for the next generation of institutional digital fiat. Now, here's my opinion. There is a huge misconception in retail crypto that the stablecoins are the enemy of XRP. Many people think that if a bank uses a stablecoin, they won't need XRP. So in my view, this is completely incorrect. Think of stablecoins as the localized cargo trains, and the XRP Ledger as the massive international railway system they run on. When Ripple positions its network to host these regulated stablecoins, it is inviting the largest financial entities in the world to park their liquidity directly on the ledger. Every single time a stablecoin moves, trades, or settles on this infrastructure, it drives massive utility to the network ecosystem. It brings the big banks directly into the ecosystem. So, what is the true relationship between RLUSD and XRP utility? The roadmap specifically highlights that the global utility of both RLUSD stablecoin and XRP will scale worldwide simultaneously. They are not competing with each other. They are working in tandem. So here's my opinion. This dual asset strategy is pure genius. RLUSD provides corporations and institutional banks with the predictable, stable value peg they need for day-to-day accounting. They can hold it without worrying about market price swings. But here is the catch. When those institutions need to move that value across borders into a completely different currency instantly, RLUSD will utilize XRP as the back-end bridge to complete the transaction in under 4 seconds. RLUSD is the onboarding ramp, but XRP is the engine under the hood. They complement each other perfectly to create an unstoppable institutional payment flow. Now, why does institutional grade infrastructure matter more than hype? The strategic direction has ignited a lot of discussion across the community. A prominent market commentary account known as XRP Herald right here, stating that this strategy is exactly what the blockchain sector needs right now. They pointed out that hearing this vision directly from executives who are actually building the tools carries far more weight than typical industry speculation. Now, I completely agree with that perspective. We are well past the phase of retail crypto where a project can survive on hype, memes, or empty promises. In the current market environment, actual utility and institutional grade security are the only things that matter. When you have the president of a major company confirming that they are actively building compliant infrastructure for global cross-border payment networks, it gives you immense confidence in the long-term trajectory. It proves that while the rest of the market is chasing short-term trends, the real builders are focused on capturing the multi-trillion-dollar institutional payment market. And finally, here's our overall conclusion. When you piece all of these developments together, the long-term roadmap becomes incredibly distinct. Ripple is systemically building a compliant, interconnected financial ecosystem where the XRP Ledger serves as the primary infrastructure for global enterprise payments. By focusing heavily on multi-chain interoperability and hosting regulated stablecoins like RLUSD, they are paving a direct path for legacy financial institutions to transition onto the blockchain. Ultimately, the takeaway here is that XRP's utility is expanding far beyond its original boundaries. It is being positioned as the core liquidity layer for a brand new multi-chain world. For anyone observing these markets, the message from leadership is loud and clear. The real growth of this network will be driven by real-world adoption, structural utility, and institutional infrastructure, not by speculative noise. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Or you might just as well check this next recommended video right here.